Start streaming. Okay. Just do the usual and share. Right, view on YouTube. That's what I want. Okay, just put it on now. Okay, I'm just going to share this on, okay, YouTube. Go. And on face cloth as well, of course. I'll check the chat box in a minute. I don't know if any of you can actually hear me. Oh, my mic's working, that's the main thing. Hope you're all doing alright. If you're watching this on the recording, thanks for watching it. Much appreciated. Okay, just share it around. I'm getting fed up with Facebook, I really am. They're making it more and more difficult to do like normal things. They just updated the system. So, see, it's like I press post, nothing happens. It's just working a lot worse. And on this group, just put on 3 groups for now. And I can't even use search. Won't let me use search when I'm sharing things around. Why do they keep filling with things? Anyway, hello, Cocky. Good evening. Hi, Legendary. And hello, David Schultz. How the hell are you too? I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for tuning in, all you guys. Hope you're alright. I just shared, so hopefully we've got 7 viewers at the moment. Hopefully we'll get some more soon. It's good to see you again. It really is. Thank you all for joining me. It's appreciated. Woody Black. Hello, how are you? Hope you're alright. How's things? Good to see you guys. Thanks. By the way, I know some of you were on the Kev Baker show in the chat box there last night on Monday night, and I really appreciate you doing that. Yeah, greetings, Ben. Cocky says these are the end times. End times, I tell you. I think I saw you standing in the city centre the other day with a Bible. You know. Hugh Jarsel, how will the Nazis make the V word mandate via private companies? Yeah, they will, Hugh. So not all these messages will show up because I've got the filter on. But you asked about the V word. I can't say what it is, but the V. If you hear me say V word, what I'm talking about, it's the C word is this disease that's been sweeping the world for the last couple of years. The V word is supposedly a thing people are taking to prevent them getting it. And I think the V word is now so many people that take. At some point, there's going to be some kind of coercion. Definitely, you take the V word, otherwise you can't do this, you can't do that. You'll be completely and utterly. There'll be a lot of social pressure. Be said, you people who don't take the V word, you're helping spread the C word around. Hi, Al McCall, how are you? And there's going to be a huge amount of. There's going to be an enormous amount of just shamings, public shaming put on people. Definitely. It's good you guys have joined me. I've got a brief lead off. It's not much. I thought we could discuss it more as we go along, but I do have a brief lead off because, of course, what happened 5 years ago today, eh? You remember it very well. I was very excited about it. Yay, 5 years on, how things changed. And honestly, I didn't know. I didn't think we'd ever get here. There's times when I thought this can't happen. They're gonna. This is gonna get worse and worse and worse, and they're gonna just try and stop it. Oh man! But welcome all of you, Huge Arsehole, David Schultz, Al McCall, Cocky, Legend Real. Hello, all of you. I enjoyed the Kev Baker show. Was all right, but unfortunately, there was some technical problems, and Kev couldn't actually log into TFR. So normally, what he does is he streams on TFR and YouTube simultaneously. It had to be a YouTube only event. Hello, the Lone Gunman. How are you? Cocky says they're lying about the amount of people who have had the V word. A lot of people haven't. Last time I heard. Up to they did a survey. 35% of people in Britain are going to refuse the V word. About 35%. Now, if those people stick by their guns, any kind of V word passport or enforcement, it won't work. So we really need those people to stick by their guns. Definitely. Hello, David. Splendid Isolation. Hello. He says I'm on holiday in Cornwall with my girlfriend. Hot weather so far. Oh, David, well done, mate. I'm pleased for you. You've got your girlfriend. I really have. But it's great of you to join me while you're in the beauty of Cornwall. I know Sonara's Ashtree lives there too, and it's been lovely there. I mean, apart from when the bigwigs moved into that big hotel, apart from that, it's a lovely place. So I hope you're having a good time. I'm glad you're having good weather. It was nice weather here in Oxford today, actually. It's been raining. It rained through the weekend, but it's actually turned nice. So that's good. I'm looking forward to the upcoming conference season, which is finally restarting. Yay! Oh, David says you've both been to the Eden Project. All right, what was that like? I've not been to that before. But is it all is it Great Reset kind of Agenda 21 type thing? I don't know. Is it something a bit more? It's something a bit more benign and friendly than that. I don't know. It just sounds a bit. It sounds a little bit, and it sounds and looks a little bit sort of Klaus Schwab-y, but maybe it's not. Hello, Andy Young. Oh, he says I enjoyed your chat with Gareth on the Mindset Mornings yesterday. Thank you, Andy. It's really great to be on Gareth's show. It's really, really fantastic. I know Gareth has really been active lately doing these morning shows, which is not easy for him because he starts at 6 to get in the afternoon in this country. He starts at 6 a.m. The Crafty Nihilist. Hello, both of you. Are you both there? Oh, thanks for joining us. Thank you, both of you. But are you at the Boozer? Oh, right. Have one for me, will you? I've just got dragon juice tonight, guys. As you know, I don't imbibe beverages of that kind when I'm on the air, unless it's a special occasion. Hello, Onslow. Greetings. Hello, Jake Yorkman. All right, David says it's all ecological sustainability, the Eden Project. They have 2 huge tropical and temperate biodomes you can walk around. Well, you said, David, it's unfortunately, whenever I hear that word sustainability, it does tend to be a little bit kind of Georgia Guidestones-y. But I'm all in favour of ecology and looking after the environment, but it tends to be, we need a one world government to save us from ecological catastrophe. Crafty Nihilists are having more freedom pints. Great. Good for you. I need to have another one too. Do you remember we've got to drink 125 pints, all of us, to save the hospitality industry from collapse? So that's your duty. You better get on with it. Sounds all right. If you twist my arm, I'll do it. Wisconsin. Dearie me. Are you that bad already? Are you as pissed as I was on election night? Now that's pissed. That's pissed. I couldn't even say Wisconsin. Hey guys, it's good to be here. Do you want to see the T-shirt I've got on? Here we go. I've got this on. I'll just stand up for a few minutes because I want my own viewers lagging a little bit, but it's UFO Jesus. It's this T-shirt here. Just the beginning. I'm just waiting for. Yeah, can you see that all? I'm just waiting to see if because I'm looking at my own reflection in here. It says just the beginning. Can you see that? There we are. I think that's it. I think you've seen it all there. Yeah. That's from UFO. It's actually UFO Jesus. The post-disclosure world. Yeah. David Gregg. Hello. It's a tick. This is the gimbal, but yeah, it's like that. Yeah. It's the gimbal. But it's based on that, just the beginning. Yeah. I hope that's true. Oh well, I'm actually going to do a live stream on Saturday about that. By the way, guys, and some of you might not be here later on. How do you feel about me doing a Saturday afternoon live stream rather than evening, sort of like 2 p.m. on Saturday? It's just I want to get in there quick because, of course, on Friday, that's the big day when the report is released, the first UAPTF report. We still don't know officially what's going to be in it. I think I've got a pretty good idea because of the leak. However, it might not be. There may be more. So obviously I don't know. Friday it'll be released during daytime US, so that could be quite late. This on Friday evening, my time that it arrives. In which case I'm going to go to bed obviously Friday evening, work Saturday morning, then Saturday afternoon do a live stream. Jake Yorkman can make it 2 p.m. Saturday. That'll be great, guys. Oh, you'll try to. All right. Well, Jake, it'd be great if you could be there. If not, well, you see, it'd be a bit tricky in the evening, I think. Also, like I said, I want to get in there as soon as I can. As soon as I hear what's in it, I want to discuss it. And so much is going on at the moment. I never know when there's going to be a moment free. Making plans is really difficult. Anyway, guys, tonight, this evening, we're going to talk about the referendum. Yes, it is. Today is 5 years since the British people did what I think is one of the greatest things our nation has ever done: vote to leave the European Union. The entire establishment was against us. There was a huge amount of pressure from our countrymen, whose willpower was weakened and shackled by Project Fear. But you know what? We voted leave despite all that. And I feel so proud. And you know what's happened? None of the... Do you remember the portents of doom that the Ramonas were wailing from every street corner? None of that's come true. Yeah, we were suffering from problems, but most of it is because of the C-word pandemic and not Brexit. And in fact, I know the Remainers are called rejoiners, I suppose you call them now. They will point to like Northern Ireland and the fishing industry and things like that. But these are acts of sabotage. These are obstacles deliberately created and thrown into our path by Brussels to impede our way to freedom, and it's not going to work. So I'm going to celebrate many, many future referendum days to come. Now, last year's referendum day, the thing is, what do you call it? Did I do a live stream last year for this? I can't remember. Maybe you guys can remind me. But I can't remember exactly whether I did or not. Hello, Jill D. Hello, Jill D. Is your other half going to join us? Hello, yeah, Ben, Jill. Oh, never in the history of whatever it is. Yes. Afternoon's good for me. Your wife will be shopping, David. Oh, right. Well, this is something to help you pass the time. Yeah. So you got an excuse not to go around and sit around staring into space while she picks shoes. Well, Jill, I hope you can make it. Hey, it's I think I might have done a live stream last year about this. I certainly did one for the deal, didn't I? And I did one I tend to do live streams for things like this, but I lose track of how many I've done. But last year's remember Boris said that this was going to be our Independence Day. He said this before the referendum. From this time on, we will call June the 23rd our Independence Day, British Independence Day. But you see, since then, it's all got a bit more complicated, you see, because Brexit happened on the 31st of January 2020. So that's kind of Brexit Day. And if you remember, I did a thing about that. Then there's the Deal Day, which is actually January the 1st. Sorry, it's just January. It's actually December the 31st. It was 11 p.m. December the 31st. And then there's Referendum Day. There's the day of the referendum, which is June the 23rd, today. So, which do you celebrate? I think the answer is just celebrate all three. That's the answer. But this is special. I think this is the one I consider the most special, probably. Possibly even more so than Brexit Day. Because this is the day we made the decision. This is the fateful moment where that social contract suddenly changed. And the elite, the deep state, the Illuminati suddenly realised they did not have complete control of us. And I know some of you will think, oh no, but it was all just set up. It was all just, yeah, Brexit is all part of the plan. Well, it's all part of the conspiracy. We can discuss that maybe. But last year's referendum day was special because it was the first one post-Brexit. And it's important to remind ourselves of the long struggle we went through for that day. It's 3.5 years of turmoil between June 2016 and January 2020. It's longer than it should have been. Article 50 just takes 2 years. They almost doubled it out because the Ramonas were digging their heels in. And it was a very dismaying time for me because during that period I think I learned a tough lesson. All of us did. It's not just the corruption of the deep state government is something we kind of anticipated, but I really didn't expect the full extent of apathy, of weakness, of cowardice, and in many cases sheer wickedness of a large proportion of ordinary British people. That disappointed me and upset me, but all's well that ends well. We engaged in the post-Brexit transitional negotiations to hopefully give our newly independent nation a healthy and prosperous relationship with the continental superstate. That's what we want. We Brexiteers want that, right? We Brexiteers, all we want is peaceful coexistence with the EU and other nations as well. That's all we want. We want to build a trade. We've been trading since prehistoric times, and we want that. We just want that to continue. When we want to, but rather than as a province of the empire, we want to be independent from the empire. So why can't we do that? It's just the obstruction just disgusts me. All these things to do with Northern Ireland and the fishing. It's just an act of spite. That's all it is. There's other issues, of course, such as HS2. The Joint Defence Command, and things like that. I actually think things turned out better than I expected. I really thought, firstly, that the C word was going to put a kibosh on it, because they were saying, van der Leyen and the others, they were going, we cannot have these negotiations, because we might get infected. Therefore, we are going to suspend it until the end of the lockdown. Like, when's that? When they'd still be suspending it now. But they tried to extend the transitional period, and they couldn't. Because, as Boris said, you can get onto Zoom. There are court cases on Zoom. There are Zoom weddings. There are Zoom funerals. You can have Zoom Brexit negotiations, can't you? And luckily, Boris chose a good negotiating team. It kept things on schedule, kept that ball rolling, because, honestly, Brussels were trying to slow it down. And they kept the negotiating team chosen by Boris, kept that going. Michel Barnier was... he was. He had a plan. He wanted to threaten us with a no deal Brexit. The no deal Brexit. Oh my God! Save us from the no deal Brexit. That's like sinking into Hades, But all that would mean, because it didn't work though, because all that would mean is that the WTO's barley package would be introduced. That's worked perfectly well in South Sudan. It's worked perfectly well in East Timor. And it will simply be introduced to us. It's basically a template deal for a newly independent state. Arranged by the World Trade Organization. It's perfectly functional. It doesn't have to be the final deal or the final situation. it can be adapted, you see, over time. But it just gives an independent nation an economic relationship with its neighbours. And I always thought they were going to delay it. It'd probably be a couple of years later, it'd still be dragging on. Then they go for some kind of Brexit light, or I can't believe it's not Brexit. It'd be something like the Norway 2.0, or we stay in the customs union, or it's that kind of thing. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen. The original end of the 11-month period from January the 31st to December the 31st came and went, and yeah, they said, that's it, the deal is introduced. And it was. It wasn't perfect, as I've said before. But it was... I personally think they should have just gone WTO. I mean, whenever you say that, people say, you think we should crash out without a deal? Crashing out. It's like there's this image of us like Britain being thrown through a door, and there's like bits of wood and broken glass all around us, and we're lying there beating them to a pulp. It's not like that at all. The Bali package is perfectly... It's not crashing out without a deal. Whenever you hear that term crashing out, that's just rejoinder propaganda. That's all it is. It's a buzzword. So, of course, we have these unresolved issues to do with fisheries. We have these unresolved issues to do with Northern Ireland. But the only reason they're unresolved is because these people don't want them resolved. That's the thing. The rejoiners don't want to resolve them. They want them left there as an obstacle, so they can justify us being sucked back into the empire. Don't be surprised at all by the next general election. It's only 3 years away. There will be some kind of rejoin alliance. It'll be Labour, Lib Dem, SNP, probably, and maybe a few others. Anyway, thank you. Welcome, Winslow Burdett. Roses are red. A female chicken is called a hen. I'm sitting here drinking beer and listening to my mate Ben. Ah, nice one, Winslow. That's a perfect thing to put into a Valentine card. David Gregg, has it really happened? Well, yes, it has. I mean, it's... none of the nightmare scenarios have come true. I know that people are saying, but it's not real Brexit. Well, there are unresolved issues. It's not just the fisheries. It's not just Northern Ireland. It's the European Defence Command. That's the problem. It's the European Defence Command, that is the military treaty, which has not been formally repealed. That's still a problem. That is still an issue. And HS2. That's still HS2. Why the F is HS2 going ahead? Why? HS2 is a product of EU domination. Gary Robinson says, hello. Afternoon, mate. I'm a little out of touch with the UK, but please tell me, there is not going to be another vote. No, there's not going to be another vote on Brexit. No, Brexit's happened. But there is probably going to be another vote on Scottish independence, probably in the next couple of years. And I'll cover that nearer the time. I'm not Scottish. I don't have a say. But I would recommend that Scots don't vote for it because it's a trap. It's a trap. Nicola Sturgeon is trying to get Scotland into the EU and getting out of the UK into the EU, out of the frying pan into the fire. Cocky says, cannot believe how much life has improved since Brexit, lol. Oh, well, Cocky, the C word got in the way, didn't it? That's the problem. Some of the Remainers say, oh, the C word is a Brexiteer's best... It's their best, greatest dream come true, because the idea is that somehow all the problems that are caused by Brexit, right, Brexiteers will blame on the C word. No. You see, I know that some things are caused, these things are caused by the C word, but then, you see, the things that are caused by the C word are caused by the C word. They're not caused by Brexit. David Gregg, we need a freedom government, not a load of globalist shills. Yes, we do. Chu Jarso, love the accent, so true. Ah, yes, Feierabend, Gott in Himmel! I swear he's another bloody Klaus Schwab. He's another boy from Brazil. David Gregg says, we're in a perfect position, an island that can be self-sufficient and trade freely. That's what we want. I mean, there's talk. They're arranging bilateral trade deals now. This is the way forward. Simply bilateral trade deals. I mean, they may not allow such deals with the EU member states independently, but we can set up bilateral trade deals with other nations, and we were going to do with the United States until this is what Trump wanted to do. Now Biden has, not faked his way into the White House, and he's the completely legitimate president. Honk honk, as Styx Exdammer says. He has he's put a stop to that. Coggy says, you've left Europe straight into the world order courtesy of a P word. Yeah. I can't say that word, I'm afraid, Cocky. But I know what you mean, yeah. They're using... I actually think, Cocky, that the C word and its associated works, the lockdown and things like that, basically it's their 2016. They're striking back. They want to hit us back to us with the equivalent of the. They want us to hit back with the equivalent of the 2016 effect. Armand Adams says, "Hello Ben, love the Pentach. Yours and Kev's. Are you going back again soon?" I hope so. I'd like to. I mean, as soon as there's an opportunity, I will. I mean, I had a lovely time, as you saw with the video. I really enjoyed myself, even when I missed the taxi. I mean, I actually think that was a blessing in disguise. You know, it didn't cost me hardly any more money. I got home sooner than I thought, and I had that lovely walk. You know. Yeah. David Gregg says she's a balloon sturgeon. Yeah, that big fish. Is going to. It's funny how Scottish First Ministers are named after fish, aren't they? We got salmon, not salmon, but salmon and sturgeon. Yeah, Woody Black. Romanians are a bunch of C words. They are the old C word, not the new one. Yeah, Nihilist Lives Matter. Daly Atkinson case has been found. Yep, expect them to BLM to lose their excrement. Nihilist Lives Matter. In this case, I think it's Dalian Atkins, of course, was a black man. The issue for me is simply he died because he was tasered. There may well be something associated with that as well, but I think it is a bloody awful thing. I mean, he got convicted though, didn't he? He got convicted. But the issue to me is it's not a race issue. The issue is I don't even know what colour the cop was who did it. He used a taser on Dalian. Now, a taser is supposedly a non-lethal weapon. Yeah, how many people is actually killed since it's been introduced? It's killed a lot of people. Not only that, if you survive, people who sometimes survive taser, those who are not killed by it, suffer from very long-term illnesses as a result, including there's Parkinson's disease or similar symptoms, confusion, brain damage, things like that. People who survive being struck by lightning often get the same symptoms. So, yeah, it's an awful thing what happened to Daly. He was only 48. Obviously, he's an ex-footballer. He's a pretty fit guy. Shot with a taser, killed. I think he had a heart attack, yeah. Nihilist Lives Matter says, we'll get a trade deal. It gives us leverage on the EU. Saying we won't is for optics. Yeah, we can trade with almost anything. We have harbours, we have ships, we have goods. We unfortunately, because of the bloody globalists, we don't have like the heavy industries we used to have. But we can revive those. We don't have to do what the globalists tell us. We can revive those. Us breaking away from the EU is a chance. That Boris has a chance to be Britain's Trump. And unfortunately, he's fallen short in many ways. Unfortunately, as I said, when it comes to the C word, he's basically completely merged with the mainstream. He's basically just spouting out the same line everyone else does about masks, about V words, about social distancing, things like that. Which is a shame. I don't see why he can't. Why can't he be Britain's Trump? He has the opportunity. Why is he cucking? I think it's because he's still under some kind of control. I don't know what it is. It's not his wife and child this time. Diego Rivera. Hello, Israel. Diego Rivera 2 Genius 2. UK is run by the World Economic Forum. Oh yeah. Hopefully not for much longer, Diego Rivera. Boris Johnson wants to be gender neutral. If he wants that, then he's going to have to do something about his hair. The Lone Gunman. Ben, do you know that Bob Lazar is an agent? See the Collins brothers on Timothy Kelly, our Interesting Times podcast. Right. I mean, I'll have a look at that. I know the podcast you're referring to, and I'll watch that. But you do realise that Bob Lazar being an agent is not exactly original. It's hardly the first time. It's hardly the first time that Bob Lazar's been accused of this. It's almost like par for the course now. It's almost like a inevitable situation. You say something about UFOs, you get some attention, and you get called a shill, an agent. It's happened to me. So I'll have a listen to that. But I hope they come up with something new and original rather than the usual stuff that Richard D. Hall and alien scientists spout out, because that's just very boring, very very cliched, very unoriginal rubbish. Cocky says salmon and sturgeon, the dynamic duo. Yeah, I hope. I'd like to think there's the political equivalent of a shark out there, which likes to, it completely metaphorically gobble up other fish for breakfast. Diego Rivera says, will Boris Johnson become the first trans PM? Well, he's the first Roman Catholic PM, as I said in the video that got banned. Oh, by the way, I've got record on because I'm using OBS. My streaming software allows me to record and stream simultaneously. So if this particular stream is stopped by YouTube for any reason, I've got the recording and I will upload that to my alt text sites, which YouTube can't do anything about. Yeah, that video. I've got a warning on my channel now. That warning's permanent. It's never going away. And if I'll get a community strike if that happens again. And do you know what? I can't avoid it because I've watched that video twice since the strike, and I have no idea what it was. I think it's simply because I talked about the C word and the V word. I think it's simply because of that, and the whole thing about harassment and bullying was just an excuse. Yeah. Oh, so yeah. As I said, if he wants to be a trans PM, he's going to have to do something about his hair, definitely. Nihilist Lives Matter says, back in the day, when men were men, bobbies were all 6 foot plus and didn't need tasers. They're now all about 4'10". Diversity hires, they need help. Yeah. Well, that's just the thing. And also, they tend to be, the police really are in a terrible way. And I feel sorry for the policemen themselves. I think the best thing to do is get out. There is actually a real recruitment and retention problems in police forces now around the world. But they really can't be happy when they're, they have to go out, there's a bank robbery down the road or something. And their senior officer says to them, nope, you've got to go around and knock on this person's door because they've been saying insulting things on Facebook. You've been saying things like, oh, white people are not evil, or something really, really horrible like that. So go and knock on their door and warn them. So what about the bank robbery, sir? Forget the bloody bank robbery. Doesn't matter. They're insured. That's hardly an exaggeration, is it? David Gregg, think Boris fooled us again. I think Boris is a disappointment. He's a huge disappointment, as I said in my video about him, which got banned. And I don't know why it's got. I'm not going to hesitate saying what I'm saying because I don't know why that video got banned. So I'm going to just say anyway. He could be he could have been Britain's Trump. He still could be, but he's showing no signs of getting there. He seems to have regressed back to when it comes to the C word, nothing more than a normal globalist, puppet. Nihilist Lives Matter. Not a UK-US trade deal will. No, a UK-US trade deal will give the USA leverage over the EU. The USA is pissed at their protectionism BS. It will. You see, it will indeed, though. It would, because then it would make Britain more competitive. You see, because over the transatlantic trade. Because at the moment, you see, the EU wants to dominate the. It wants to dominate the market. So it's fiddling with import and export taxes and things like that. So you pay import just by raising the import duty on something or lowering it, or the same with exports. You can fiddle with the profit margin of various exports and imports to the point where manufacturers will choose just not to do it through certain routes. And that's really it's very as I said, it's not what we Brexiteers want. They're setting the situation up, and then they're going to blame it on Brexit. And they're going to say, oh, it's Brexit's fault, when it's their fault. We Brexiteers want peaceful coexistence. Diego Rivera, have you heard a new planetoid has entered the solar system? The biggest comet ever detected. No, I haven't. Is it heading our way? Jonathan Carlos. Hello, Jonathan. That's a new name, I think. Welcome, if you've not posted before. I think the only thing Bojo has in common with Trump now are those golden locks. Unfortunately, Jonathan, I have to agree. And I know that it's not what he wants. So why there's a Trump inside him just waiting to burst out. There's a massive orange-coloured head just waiting to burst through the front of his face and yell at the top of his voice, "Make Britain great again!" I can see it. It's in there. It just wants to come out, and it's just not coming out. It's not coming out because he has somehow, for some reason, he has decided to go along with a lot of the globalist agenda, and it's really, really sad. Nihilist Lives Matter. You've been talking about. We're talking about the C word and the V word. No, it's actually the C word is a disease that's been affecting the entire world for the last couple of years, and the V word is what people are taking to protect themselves from it, supposedly. Yeah. Huge arsehole. They love the power trips. Yeah. And the problem with the police is I heard someone else make this point. It's disincentivizing decent people to join the police force. There's some good guys who want to join the police to do well, to fight crime, protect their communities. They're now probably thinking twice, and that is leaving the entire profession open just to the psychos. The guy who would otherwise be a bouncer, or he was a bully when he was at school, and probably works as a bouncer or some other security guard now. The police are just going to consist completely of those people, psychos, sadists. Jock of Ages, good evening. How do you do? Redknapp Goblin, hi Ben, I hope you're well. I'm fine, thanks Redknapp, and Jock, welcome. Hope you are too. Nihilist Lives Matter says Britain's Trump is Farage. It's about time he joined the Tories and ran for leader. That would be great, actually. If that was the case, it would basically, if Boris can't do the job required of him, and he used to be great, but if he cannot do it, then he needs to get out of the way and leave it for someone who can. Yes, Diego Rivera mentioned something entering the solar system. What's that all about? I'll just check BBC News. My day. If you want to get some just basic science news, I'll just have a look. Let's see what it says. Science. Signs of geological activity found on Venus. All right. I can't see anything about that right now. So, if he gets a link, I'll be grateful, actually, Diego Rivera. It has an orbit of 600,000 years. Is this Nemesis, Jonathan says, "Hey Ben, I've been watching your YouTube for quite a while now. I love the Apollo Detectives show." Oh, well, thank you very much, Jonathan. That's really, really great. I'm glad you enjoy it. Ravenhill Mystery Sword Merchant. Hello, how are you, Ravenhill? Good to see you tonight, Ben. Any thoughts on Anne Marie Waters, who's leader of the For Britain Party? She is rather she's kind of like a female Tommy Robinson. She has, in a way, she's similar to myself in a sense she can see there's a kind of new world order and a drive towards some kind of dark possible vision of the future. But for her and for Tommy Robinson, this is Islam. Basically, she sees it's like the jihad, which happened in the Middle Ages with the Crusades and things. That's still going on today, and basically, there's the Muslims want to take over the entire world and things like that. Whereas I don't think that's the case. I think what's happening is because Anne-Marie Waters and Tommy Robinson, they see basically the active role is being played by Muslims themselves, and that they're taking advantage of the the liberal piety and the weakness of the Western establishment government, and they're just moving their people in, conspiring to set up their parties and their leaders and things like that in the West. It's not the truth at all. No, the governments know exactly what they're doing. They're not. It's not something they're allowing to happen. They're making it happen. Islam is being used as a weapon. It doesn't have to be that way. I mean, you see, they're bringing. Obviously, the migration crisis is a huge problem, because you're talking about an industrialized movement of people, and a lot of them are Muslims. A lot of them are actually quite moderate when they come to the country, but they're radicalized in British mosques by hate preachers from the Salafist world, Saudi Arabia, places like that are brought in by the Muslim Council of Britain, other quangos and things like that, which are subsidised by the taxpayers, to radicalise people. So it's there's no point getting angry with the Muslims. There's no point having a go at Islam itself. Islam's a religion that's existed for a very, very long time. In many cases, it can coexist with others. In places in India, for example, in Kerala in India, it coexists peacefully with Christians and Jews quite happily. It's simply being engineered, and I don't think Anne-Marie understands this. She doesn't realise this at all, and Tommy Robinson certainly doesn't. So the For Britain Party, Anne-Marie Waters, I think they're completely up the wrong track. They make some good points about some things, the grooming gang, stuff like that, but they really, really don't understand the cause of it at all. Nihilism Lives Matter says it's crazy that the virus that can't be named is 2 years old in November. Yeah, happy birthday, C-word. Yes, you guys at the Wuhan lab, you need to put up the bunting. Your creation has reached its second year. Do you know what? I mean, that's what really annoys me. You know, they used to get Facebook used to fact check you for saying that a year ago. They used to say, people used to say, the evidence says it comes from that laboratory. It didn't come from the market next door. It's like, what's his name, the comedian on that show the other night. He was saying, he made a wonderful joke about it. You used to get fact-checked for that. Now, they're basically admitting it. I mean, they found out Anthony Fauci lied. The whole thing did come from that lab, and it's been repersoned, to quote Sargon of Akkad. So, I mean, will they get an apology? Will anyone get an apology? That's the question. All those people who lost their Facebook posts, had videos struck, had tweets removed, they were kicked off various social media sites. Are they going to get an apology for what will they? Welsh Ripper, it's still raining. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Welsh Ripper. Where's that? Diego Vera, known as 2014 UN 271. It's estimated to be between 100 and 307. Wow. 2014, I'll just look it up, because I'll do that. I'll put that in my space weather report tomorrow. 2014 UN 271. UN 271. That means it was discovered in 2014. Oh, yeah, yep, UN 271. Here we go. Yeah, it's a trans-Neptunian object on a cometary-like orbit from the Oort cloud, currently approaching the Sun at a distance of 20.2 astronomical units. Right, I will put that in there. Yeah, its diameter is pretty big, actually. It could be up to 100 kilometers in diameter. Whatever that is, I don't like using metric measurements, but there you are. That's what it has in Wikipedia. Well, thank you very much for letting me know about that, Diego Vera. But the 2014 prefix means it was discovered in 2014. I know, because every week on Hapanmo Radio, on the Hapanmo show, I do a space weather report. Nihilist Lives Matter. If it was that deadly, how come the refugee camps weren't decimated? Yeah, I mean, there's no point getting angry with these people. They're being used. They're being used really, really badly. They're just been weaponized against various countries. The globalists just want to create some kind of situation where they can justify their world government. Cocky says, Diane Abbott is Britain's Trump. Oh my goodness me, you must be joking. She is the Trump antithesis. She's horrible. Honestly, apart from Professor Brian Cox, she's probably one of the worst people in the world, the one I dislike the most. David Schultz has brought up something. I hope they would. Another name for the famous Clinton body count. Christopher Sign dies of apparent suicide. Who broke the story of the Clinton tarmac meeting with Loretta Lynch? Arkansas did, yeah. So what happened then, David? Did he shoot himself twice in the back of the head? Or did he hang himself in a prison cell, you know? David Gregg. Ben, it's on Mr. BBBB. What's that mean, David? Sorry, I've lost track of that conversation. Jonathan Carles says, oh no, this new object entering the solar system will probably have a new C-word variant. Starts buying pasta and toilet rolls. They're going to come up with something, aren't they? I mean, what's going to happen is, because I think this lockdown thing is like losing track. It's really jumping the shark, isn't it? It's really jumping the shark. I mean, Boris, as I said on the video that got banned, Boris says, come on, just one more heave. And what's going to happen is on July the 19th, if they want to extend it from July the 19th, they're going to have real problems. They're going to have to come up with something else. There has to be some kind of crisis, whatever happens. There has to be some kind of crisis. Which means if they don't, if it's not the C word, then they have to think of something else. I mean, I've had a lot of people speculating on what comes next, and it's going to be something, because you can't just keep saying, "Oh my goodness me, we got to keep going with this lockdown," because there'll be another variant and there'll be another wave. This is inevitable because coronaviruses. The C word is not an unusual kind of virus. It's actually a coronavirus, or coronaviruses mutate, and there's going to be other variants. So what are you going to do? Are we going to have a lockdown for every single one? We'll have lockdowns forever. I've got a feeling. Do you know there's this plan to get farmers to retire? Have you seen that? It's like the government are offering. The government are like offering them a lot of incentive to sell up. Now, sell up to whom? Are the state trying to buy the land? If they do, then it could be to engineer food shortages. Because this is happening in South Africa. I did an entire live stream about the horrible situation in South Africa, which is probably going to lead to a famine. There's probably going to be a famine in South Africa within the next decade. And this country, which is a massive food exporter, is going to lose that export, and there's going to be a lot of suffering in South Africa because this government is buying up the land. They're this is all part of their plan to get rid of all the white people in South Africa, but they're taking the land from them, it sounds like they've got something similar going on here. I mean, it could be. In which case, are they going to? Because once the state owns the land, then they can engineer food shortages. They did this in Ireland in the 19th century. They can do it here. Cocky says, 1 thumbs down, Brian Cox. It may be him. It could be any of a number of people. I'm surprised, Cocky. I'm surprised it's just one. Normally there's about 6 or 7. I know who they are. They're the trolls who don't like me. Nihilist Lives Matter. Have you ever seen Anne-Marie Waters and Richard Hammond in the same room? Well, are they the same person? Diego Rivera says, vote Ben Emlyn Jones for the English Bigfoot Party. Full English breakfast for Bigfoot. Rawr! I'll get my Patson and Gimlin suit on as soon as I can. Diego Rivera. Ben Emlyn Jones is the UK's Alex Jones. Am I fat enough? I don't. Now is the time, not tomorrow. Next year, we're engaging in info war because they're putting things in the water that turn the frogs gay. Nihilist Lives Matter. I work in a very diverse area. The number of Palestinian flags is very concerning. Yeah, they I think they're using this. It's funny because, like, in the Batley and Spence by-election, there's a huge. The candidates are going on and on about the Israel-Palestine thing, and of course, what a lot of the electorate is saying is, why don't you focus on local things? It just goes to. I think they are. I mean, see, I take Paul Joseph Watson's line. Maybe we should just stay out of this. How is it really as relevant? I don't think it's quite as significant as it used to be. I mean, that's a big subject, but I really don't. Hello, Marky boy. He's a bit late. Never mind. Nihilist Lives Matter. We should rename it the FFF, Fauci-funded flu. Yeah. Good old, yeah, Fauci, of course, is now bloody... Fauci is, of course, now Biden's chief medical officer, isn't he? Trump got rid of him when he was leading the C-word response program. First thing Biden does when he was elected fairly into the White House, the very first thing he does, employ him as the US chief medical officer. Woody Black, what happened to Tommy Robinson? I haven't heard from him for a while. Did someone say he's moved to Israel? I don't know. I heard it was Spain. I don't know. Woody. I know a lot of his supporters have left him because they're disappointed with him. I keep hearing from people all over social media saying, I used to be a Tommy Robinson supporter, and now I'm something else. Marky Boy said, I would pay to watch a live stream of Fauci being punched in the face many times. Yeah, oh yeah. It would be tempting, wouldn't it? Yeah. Cocky says, Tommy Robinson converted to Islam, believe it or not. Said he got it wrong. What? Did he? Then that would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? That would be quite surprising. Armand Adams. Hello, Armand. I wonder how big that number is associated with the Clintons. Well, there's maybe one less than we think if John F. Kennedy Jr. comes back. I mean, we're still waiting for that, aren't we? Oh, Nihilist Life Matter says, you misinterpreted what I said. Refugee camps are overcrowded and unsanitary, ergo no social distancing and hand washing. But we saw no news stories about how they're affected. Yeah, it's a good point, Nihilist. Sorry, I misunderstood, yeah. And they weren't hit as bad. It should be C-word's wet dream. Yeah. I don't get that either. Armand says there's another variant, BBC reporting on it, if you can believe that came out there in the months. It's going to be something else. Look, do you notice how they're renaming them? They're calling this one the Delta variant. The previous one was Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. So there's 4 different variants. They're naming them after letters of the Greek script. So that's 24 possible combinations. Why? Because they know there's going to be many, many of them. And there's 24 letters in the Greek script. Cocky. I hate Nick Pope. David Gregg. The object entering solar system, pics and all. It's actually... I'll do a full report tomorrow because I'll look into it for my space weather report, but I don't think it's going to bother us particularly. David Schultz. Speaking of the V word, 153 Houston hospital workers fired or quit over the V word, C word, V word requirement. I'll tell you what, David, I'm very, very pleased because, unions are standing up now. At least one trade union here in Britain is actually standing up over this issue. Now, I didn't think they'd do that because as I explained before, I was a trade unionist for a very short time when I started out in hospital portering. I got disillusioned with it very quickly within a few months. And this was before things went full woke now. But they were just going on and on about what we would today call wokeism, and I just got fed up with it. I got fed up of hearing about it. Welsh Ripper, we're due another outbreak of foot and mouth disease. Shh, don't give them ideas. David Gregg says, Alex was right about the frogs. He was indeed. I was walking past a pond the other day, and one of them came out and said, hello, sweetie, how are you? Jobby Dodger, hello. Hello, Ben. My mate thinks he's gone to Spain on July the 9th, bless him. Oh, right. So is that why Tommy Robinson, you mean, has gone to Spain? All right. Cocky says, Neil Smarmy Sanders sucks. Neil has done some good things. I like some of the things he's done, but he said what he said on the Kev Baker show. It was really quite disreputable of him, I thought. He said some things that I really think are they're not just wrong, they're actually defamatory. Jonathan Keller says, assuming Project Fear hasn't scared other countries from leaving the EU, who do you think will be next to leave? Or who would you like to leave? Right. who will be next to leave is probably going to be one of the Eastern European nations. They've not been members for long. They're probably going to be out. Now, I hope, I know that Ukraine, because all this stuff about the Ukrainian civil war is all to do with the EU. This is how it all started, because they're split over whether to join the EU or not. I hope they won't. As for countries that are already in now, I think probably Hungary will leave. Maybe Poland. I know they're very, very Eurosceptic in those countries. They've had a lot of history of being associated with the Soviet Union through the Cold War. They get out of that, and the first thing they find they're doing is their government wants to enter them into a new Soviet Union to the west, and the European Soviet Union essentially. And so there's a lot of people in Poland can see through it, and I know some Polish people. There's a lot of Polish porters, and they're very, very anti-EU. I think they'll be the next one. Now, who would I like to see leave next? France. I think France is the linchpin. If France goes, that's the cornerstone, and the whole thing will collapse then. Whether France goes or not will depend an awful lot, I think, on the next election in April. Because once again, we got Marine Le Pen running against Emmanuel Macron. What will happen, I don't know. But in my banned video, I mentioned the letter from the French generals. France is an unstable society. If they fall into civil war, well, it won't be the first time, will it? But I've got an awful feeling they're going to rig the election so that Macron stays in, and then France will stay in the EU, and it'll get worse and worse. They'll just increase the migration crisis. Hugh says, I've been banned on Facebook for 30 days with no explanation. Where has Daniel Bostock gone on Facebook as well? You never get an explanation. They just say you've breached some rule. They don't tell you what it is. It's all very Kafkaesque. Daniel Bostock is always getting banned. I think I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. I think he was between bannings at that time, but he's obviously got a new one now. It can happen to it. I mean, the video that they banned from me, I've received absolutely no explanation at all. I've appealed. They've not even replied to my appeal. Obviously, they said they ban it permanently in 7 days. Those 7 days passed last Friday, so it's gone. Now, I've got no explanation whatsoever about how that happened. I've watched the video. I can't see any bullying and harassment in it. I think it's because I mentioned the C word. It was probably something to do with that, and they're just using the bullying thing as an excuse. Either way, I can't see anything about it. I just can't. David Gregg. It used to be Fauci, now it's Fauci. Oh, right, that's where the C word comes in. Has he changed his spelling name to remove a C? Yeah. Cocky, you're on a 30-day ban from Facebook too. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't had one, because I'm always retweeted people. Nihilist says, I'm disappointed with Tommy Robinson, but at the end of the day, he opened the conversation and went to jail for his beliefs, even though if he'd kept his mouth shut, he would have been left alone. I think deep down he means well, but like Anne-Marie Waters, he's completely gone off the wrong track. He doesn't understand the issue he's dealing with. I mean, I loved Panodrama. I loved it when he screwed the BBC. He gave the BBC a taste of their own medicine. I thought that was brilliant. But he needs to understand what's really going on here. I mean, he says things like, he said the gates of Vienna. He talks about the gates of Vienna. I mean, this is what loads of others have talked about. He said that happened on September the 11th, was it 1603 or something? And that's why they chose September the 11th for the 9/11 attacks. I mean, how could you be so naive? Those things are not connected. Jobby Dodger says, my Pakistani mate had the J word, the V word. Now he's got a dodgy tikka and fell into a corner. He must have had the one that works against the Delta variant, known as the Punjab. Cocky says, I couldn't access Bostock's FB page. No, I mean, I haven't checked myself, but I mean, I did talk to Dan the other day, but he must have had himself another ban. Armand says, yes, the Delta Plus it's called now. Oh, right. Oh my God, it's Delta Plus. It's worse than the original Delta. I guess we need another V word, don't we? Honestly, I'll tell you what, the whole this is going to be a massive payday for the medical industrial complex. I mean, they've been selling a V word to us, and now guess what? They're going to have to rent it. We have to rent it. We have to have one every single new variant. My goodness me, they can then market an entire new batch. My goodness me, what a absolute money killer that is. Eh? David Schultz says, here in the States, nearly 4,000 fully V-worded people in Massachusetts test positive for the C word. Source the Epoch Times. You see, even according to the official narrative, right, the V word doesn't protect you from the C word. It doesn't. They tell you to keep, whenever you get the V word, they tell you, I know because my family have had it, they say keep taking precautions. You know, the hand-washing masks, things like that. David Gregg, it was the Indian variant, but India complained, so now it's Delta. All right. Well, I mean, it's probably some political correctness in that, but it's called that because it was all over India, wasn't it? And supposedly it was causing terrible problems. I know that the medical system there is so inadequate that it can't cope. There's also people are very poor. They live in you get 100 people in one house and things like that. It's terrible in India. People have been there say that the poverty is incredible. Marky Boy says, not the motor manufacturer sector. Unions love PCR and masks. Yeah, I mean, whether they'll be forced to take the V word though, Marky, I don't know. Do you know about those pilots who died? 4 British Airways pilots died in the space of a week. Fit young guys. And BA proudly announced that 90% of their pilots have had the V word. Probably all of the pilots who fly international routes have had to have it. I know in Iceland they're forcing you to have it if you want to enter the country. So is there a connection? Because if you lived there's 4,500 BA pilots, right? 7 of them die in 7 weeks. Fit young guys, or constantly having medical checks because the CAA insists on it because you get grounded. And then 4 of them die. Now, why is that? Is that a coincidence? Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about, as David Icke would say. Nihilist Lives Matter. I had the Pfizer V word about 2 to 3 months ago. Been 5 since, but I admit I've been concerned for in 5, 10, 20 years. Well, Nihilist, my advice is not to have any V words. If you've had one, then don't have the second. But it's up to you. You are responsible for your own well-being. So I personally think you shouldn't have it. I wouldn't trust it. But Villan Aura, hello. Frexit. I hope so. I mean, I'd love to see someone like Marine Le Pen get into France because she will. I believe. I mean, people have said people are going on about but she's not that good. She's cucking here. She's cucking there. She's doing a Boris and she's cucking on this and that and the other. But I suspect if she forms a government, she'll pull France out. I know she's very anti-EU. If that happens, then that's the two the big giants of the EU were Britain, France, Germany. Britain's gone. If France goes, you have one major economy, Germany, and then all the others. Hachi, viva la revolution! Yeah. Jobby Dodger, France is overrun with Moria orcs. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of them are in government. Brilliant Aura, give Van der Leyen tears. Yeah, I can't stand that person. I really can't. You know, she's like a bit like Theresa May. Diego Rivera, what about the government emergency alerts on your phone? Sounds like they are planning something. If I find one of those apps, I'll delete it. I mean, I haven't. I will just delete the bugger. I will. I won't have that on my phone. What's this alert? Go to train station. Jonathan Carlis says, thanks for the answer. I'd agree with you on Hungary. I've known a lot of Hungarians over the years, and their ideals and that are of the bloc don't mesh well at all. No, they've suffered. I mean, in 1956, look what happened. They deposed their Soviet puppet government. Look what happened. The Red Army invaded, and there was hundreds of thousands of people killed in a massacre. The rebellion was completely crushed in the most brutal way possible. Nihilist says, the only worry is if Le Pen gets in, is that all the newly oppressed followers of the religion of peace will be crossing the channel looking for asylum. Well, there will be. I think there'll be a mass exodus from France. I believe. See, but contrary to popular belief, such a thing can be organised completely peacefully and voluntarily. I mean, all you have to do is remove the incentive for people being there, then they will return to their homelands. It doesn't. There's no forces involved. It's the only reason they're here is because they've essentially been enticed through the push-pull factor to come here. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of them I don't know if it will make any difference to what's already happening when you have 100 boats arriving on Dover every day or every week or something. It's 100 boats a week. And when I say boats, I mean really small things like rubber dinghies. The people are like crossing the Straits of Dover in these little rubber dinghies. And, of course, then it's a sort of voyage you need some proper boat for. And I think a lot of them must drown on the journey. Michel Sovereign. Hi, Michel. Hi, Ben. I was writing, but you are a great reason to take a break. You always make me sigh. Oh, thanks, Michel. I don't want to distract you from your writing. I'm trying to write a book too. It's not easy with everything going on in the world. But I'm glad I appreciate that, Michel. I hope you enjoy this live stream. Vrillon said 4 BA pilots. That's what I thought, Vrillon, yeah. Jobby Dodger. TIE fighter pilots lives matter. Well, Jobby, you try telling that to Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, because they were shooting them left, right and centre. Weren't they? Vrillon Aura, Guillain-Barré syndrome on the increase. Yeah, the Guillain-Barré syndrome, it's funny because there was a dozen deaths from that, and lots of people left disabled in the 1975 swine flu epidemic, which Donald Rumsfeld was behind. Only one person actually died of swine flu during that epidemic, a young army recruit. No, only one death from swine flu. Woody Black. So are people have had the V word really magnetic? I've seen lots of vids on BitChute about that. I don't know, actually. Woody Black says this woman had loads of spoons stuck to her head. I've seen some of those videos. Now, I've seen people who are magnetic. I don't know if the V word's got anything to do with it. Armand says, I've not had any yet, but I am a recluse anyway, so don't have much contact. Having worked as an NHS nurse, I don't trust any V. Well done, Armand. Yeah, as you know, I was a hospital porter in the NHS, and I've seen the corruption from the inside. Actually, I've seen how robotic NHS admin is. They literally take the most NPC, nihilistic people they can think of, and put them in charge of this. They put them behind the steering wheel of a £2 billion teaching hospital, and they are. It's when you talk to them, it's literally like talking to a tape recorder. They just speak in a series of cliches. Do you know? I was a basic grade porter for 23 years. 23 years, and I was never offered permanent promotion. I acted up occasionally. I was an acting senior porter a few times, but never, not once was I ever considered for promotion. What an insult. Or was it a compliment? I take it as a compliment. Welsh Ripper. Gone are the days of going out, getting pissed and picking up a tart at the disco. If they reopen the nightclubs, you might have a chance, Welsh. John B. Dodger. How do we get laid now? Well, you've got to wear a mask. Have you heard that? Bend them over the dog food tins in Iceland. You got to wear a mask apparently while you're doing it. I mean, goodness me. I mean, I couldn't believe it was serious when I heard this. I really couldn't. But some expert said at some point, make sure you wear a mask while you're having sex, and don't kiss. Which you could do it because it's not sexually transmitted, but don't wear a mask. So don't kiss or let your mouth or nose touch the other. And I looked at it and I thought, you're single, aren't you? I mean, what a turn off that is. That's crazy, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Michel says, if you don't know how to get laid with a disco, I dare say you have bigger troubles than lockdown, respectfully. Yeah, oh, it's true, Michelle. Honestly, I hated when I used to go to nightclubs and things when I was a porter. You know, it was like end of the 2 to 10 shift. It's back to the staff. Well, I never lived on site, but the guys went back to staff accommodation and changed. I went home and got changed straight down this. And of course, I ended up not bothering anymore because I didn't like the kind of women who go to these places anyway. And they were just drunk, and if you got drunk, it's just really, really awful place. You're not going to have an in-depth relationship with anyone you meet in that kind of environment. You know, some people don't mind. Some people just want casual relationships and things like that. I've never been a person like that. I've never wanted casual relationships ever. I'm not the type. I've made a couple of videos about relationships. If you're interested, there's one called "Am I a MGTOW?" and there's another called there's a whole series about nice guys. Reply to Stefan Molyneux. I got a letter about nice guys and things like that. Yeah. Hatchie says, for a basic grade porter with your mind, buddy, they keep the intelligent people at the lower ranks. Well, thank you very much, Hatchie. I appreciate the compliment, and you're absolutely right. Logically, I mean, the people they were promoted, I mean, you always know the people who are going to get promoted, right? The people who are going to go up. Like, they'd usually be related to somebody high up. Like, we had this guy join us once. He was the son of the head of oral surgery. And we looked at him, and he was already acting like, even though he was a basic grade, he was sort of like always he was very arse kissing, you know what I mean? He'd completely he'd always be sort of a very prim and proper type of person. I thought, we all said he'll be in the office in a couple of months, and sure enough, he was fast tracked up the ranks. You get these career people. Very often they're shop stewards. They start off as shop stewards as well, and they are. I mean, as you know, I'm very cynical about trade unionism. It's something I got involved with and got out pretty quickly. I remained a union member for my career, but I never became active. I didn't want to. But yeah, you get like some boy wonder turn up, you know. Some guy, he's got no experience or anything. He's always the son of a nursing officer or like a unit manager or deputy unit manager or something. And, you know, I think, well, so he's joining portering, is he? Where's he going from there? Oh. By the way, then he often skips like the senior grades. He often skips the working senior and full senior. Sometimes he goes into facility. Sometimes he does a stint in facilities management. Very often he'll even skip that. Oh, there's lots of nepotism in the NHS. It's a horrible, horrible place for bureaucracy. It is incredibly bureaucratic. Nihilist lives matter. If you remove your mask without consent during lovemaking, it will be considered an assault. Hello, Paul Armstrong. Yes, doesn't 5 years fly by when you're having fun, eh? Jonathan Corliss. Looking back, I think I should have worn a mask during some of my sexual encounters. Jonathan, if you're going to go down discos, probably if you ever end up with some kind of casual encounter with a woman there, probably very soon after the encounter, probably both of you will look at the other and think, you know, God, you would have looked better with a mask on, wouldn't you? Probably she'll think the same about you. Once you sober up, people look very different, don't they? This is why I can't stand. I can't stand getting drunk and going out with women. Michelle Sovereign. That's why I adore you, Ben. You're a rare breed. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Virulent Aura. Discos? Do they still have discos? Yeah, man. Flair's platforms. Let's go down there and dance to ABBA. Marky boy, these reptiles are not human anyway. Just ignore them. You know, I don't know how many reptilians were actually in NHS management. I think when you get up to the level of the Department of Health, there must be a lot of reps in there. A lot of reps. But they actually see, you get like these pseudo reps. I mean, I talked to Thomas Sheridan about this, if you listen to my interview with him. Like pseudo psychopaths. I just got to check something, just one moment, because I'm supposed to be on, when is it I'm on with, yeah, all right. I'm going on Thomas's show again in a couple of weeks. I just wanted to check. People who are not psychopaths, but they act like psychopaths through conformism, through social pressure, through the desire for peer approval, they will exhibit psychopathic behaviour against their nature. I mean, EastEnders actually encourages people to behave like that. Have you noticed? Do you notice the thing about EastEnders glamorises pseudopsychopathy? I could give you millions of examples. I could give you a million examples, you know? Marky Boy, illegal raves are back. Bonus, yeah. Hey, Mark Devlin, you'll be in your element, mate. Go back to your roots. Vrillons, Jonathan Corliss says there's a club in Croydon called Reflex, which still has its disco. Yeah, there are a lot of like retro ones, you know. Yeah, there are a lot of retro ones. Villanora, Lickspittles always go up the ranks. They do, don't they? You know what they're like, because you always go into the canteen, right, and they're always sitting on the table with the bosses. Have you noticed that? All the other portals like be sitting on their own table, like eating their fish and chips and stuff like that. And you get like the greasy sort of prim and proper guy. Sometimes he's like connected family-wise to the management. Not always, though. Sometimes he's just very, what should I say, ambitious. And they were sitting there smiling at the bosses, you know, laughing at their pathetic jokes and things like that. Villain Aura Acid. Yeah. Jobby Dodge is asking Michelle where he should go to get laid. All right. I'm not sure Michelle could answer that question. You know, it's not. You're better off asking another man that question, Jobby, not a woman. Hatchie says it's no good wanting to ride a horse bareback these days. Everything's got to be covered. Lol. Do you know? I think you can catch the C word from a horse. Yeah, from a horse's hide. David Schultz. Ben, did you hear that around July the 9th, the World Economic Forum is having a worldwide simulation test of disruptions of the food supply chains? Really? Oh my God. Is this the same test that took place in, what was it called, Event 24, that took place, Event 19, or whatever it's called, that took place in November 19, just before the C word appeared? Oh my God. Marky Boy said I was being tongue-in-cheek, Ben. They are reptile-brained, though. Oh, right, well, I took you literally, Marky, but as you know, I think there's some truth to the whole reptilian thing. I emceed RepCon, and Ellis Taylor was there, and a couple of other people talking about reptilian humanoids, yeah. Nihilist says, don't know about reptiles, but there's plenty of snakes working in the NHS. Yes, they are, aren't they? And a lot of them are most of them are in admin. Hello, Lemsip, how are you? I can't stand clubbing either. It's expensive and there's a strict dress code. Also, it's late at night when I would rather be at home. I would get asked to go clubbing by people I hardly knew. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd go. Firstly, I don't know enough people in my local area to have that relationship to go clubbing now. And I wouldn't really have much. I don't like nightclubs much now. It was a portering thing, really. And it's only fun when you're with a lot of people who were in that kind of mindset, and I don't know anyone like that, so I probably wouldn't go. Marky Boy has been trolling the World Economic Forum. Well, that's great fun, is it? Did Klaus Schwab come up to you and says, "You will stop this right now. You will own nothing, and you will be happy." Gott Himmel. Daniel Lack, hello. Ben, thank you. You do make me laugh at all the comments. All right, I'm glad, Daniel. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Marky Boy says, I don't normally go out until 1 a.m. Night party people just carry on. Wild man, you stop out. Hatchy. Ben, I've been married 3 times. And I don't like football. Can't work out where I've gone wrong. Lol, I'm taking your approach from now on. Excuse me. Okay, sleepy. Paul Armstrong says, no one aged over 25 should ever be caught dead in a nightclub. Paul, the problem is if you're aged over 25 and you go to a nightclub, you probably will be caught dead. Huge arsehole. Breaking. More than 1,200 cases of heart inflammation have been reported by people who received the V word, this particular V word, according to the CDC. More data needed to understand the risk factors. Well, there you are. We've had similar problems here in Britain, Hugh. It's been like people suffering from blood clots and things. What about these pilots? Did they have the V word? Oh, yeah. Welsh Ripper says, I got on a bus today. The only person not on the phone was the driver. That was me and 20 people. Yeah, you can't really have a conversation with anyone, can you? Virulent Aura, lol, food shortage. Just in time for Microsoft soy ramen noodles. Yes. And that's, it's soy. It'll probably be the maggots as well, won't it? And the other things. Eat the bugs and get in your pod. Michelle Sovereign suggests Tinder. Oh, right. Tinder's horrible. Tinder's bloody awful. I had a look at it once. I would never join it. It's all full of guys who who just seem to have no social skills and don't know how to talk to women, and lots and lots of women who are really extra fussy, and they're never satisfied unless they meet some millionaire who's bloody ripped and a big fast car, And it's depressing to see that. It really is. Diego Vera, are you going to be in Love Island, Ben? I turned down the opportunity to be in Conspiracy Road Trip and the world's greatest UFO conspiracy. So I think Love Island is beneath me a little bit, I suspect. Yes. Jobby Dodger, only been single 3 weeks, still wounded. Oh, have you broken up, Jobby? I'm sorry about that. Breaking up is horrible. I broke up with Sue Stain, as you know, in 2016, and it's still. I still think about it with a lot of sadness. I really do. Hatchy, Marky Boy, the Victorian rocking horse is making a comeback, although it's not quite the same sensation when you take the saddle off, lol. Right, well, I do hope, Hatchy, that you can't get the C word from that. It depends. If it's made in China, then you probably can. Lemsip, I only like to go out in a huge crowd, not 2 or 3 or 4 women in a group. When there was 4 of us, there was pressure to be split into 2 pairs to make it easier to pull. Yeah, I think probably 8 is the ideal number, Lemsip, I found. And usually that's good because that was my shift section was 8. There was 8 guys on my shift section, there were 4 in the main lodge, 2 on A&E, 2 in maternity. And I don't include the DS guy, the delivery suite guy, because they were a bit eccentric, those guys. They didn't go out much. So 8 was actually the rotary shift section that I would be on, which is about the right number, I think. Misha, I'll try not to get sleepy, but I am feeling a little bit. I won't go on longer than 2 hours actually, because I've got a lot. I've still got things to do this evening. Actually, I've got to actually start preparing for my show tomorrow night. I want to do a bit before I go to bed because I'm working quite late tomorrow, so I won't have time to do all my prepping when I arrive home tomorrow. Hatchies, Ben, you're a breath of fresh air. Oh, thank you very much. And C word free. Lemsip says, one of the reasons why I started going to see live bands was to get the pressure off me to go clubbing. So R.E.M., Blur and Red Hot Chili Peppers, among other acts. I rather go to a place with live music. I mean, the nightclubs, the normal nightclubs with a bar, dance floor and recorded music, I much prefer the ones which play live music. I mean, there was this really good one called Puna Na in Oxford. I don't know if it's still there. But they had live jazz and things like that. And you think I don't normally like jazz, but I go along there with all my Porterian friends, and we'd be dancing along and we'd be dancing along to it, and it was wonderful. Michelle says, "I'm single by choice. I'm a wigtow." Oh well, it's all right to be a wigtow rather than a megtow. Like feminists really like the wigtows. I know what you mean, women going their own way, Virulent Aura is asking if there's a UFO dating agency. Well, funnily enough, there is. I actually wrote an article about this, Virulent. There's one called Awake Dating. There's a couple of others, specifically for people like us. Now, I haven't joined it. I don't really want to join things like that. I'm not really looking seriously to find somebody. I just, Lemsip says, I have a neighbour who works in NHS admin. They are worse than the nurses and doctors as they think they're God's gift. This one thinks that the council housing department rules don't apply to her. they get real delusions of grandeur, you know. They really do. You know, the bad sign is when they start carrying a clipboard around with them. Because when they do that, you know they're doing it for show. It makes them look smart to have a clipboard. Like my character, people ask me about Rockall, my novel Rockall, which you can get free online, actually. Why'd you have that character who has a blank clipboard? And it's a bit of an in-joke because I'm basically trying to compare him to an NHS manager. Because there's this very bureaucratic character in Rockall called Trevor, who's kind of a bit like a parody of an NHS manager. Paul Armstrong, what's the best gig you've been to, Ben? It was probably one of the jazz acts in Ponana, you know, Paul. I think it was really one of those. Michelle, oh, you're gonna have to write again. Well, are you writing a book, Michelle? Because that's really good. Daniel Lack says, I do watch a lot of the time, Ben, but I don't use chat that much. That's cool, Daniel. If you just watch and think, and that's fine with me. I don't comment on all the channels I watch, I'll tell you. But I appreciate you watching, I do. Marky Boy said, got tickets for The Damned, Suede and Newman, but not V-worded, so I think my gig days are over. Do you mean, is that Gary Newman? Is he still going? Yeah. Michelle Sovereign has said, so I have to approve this comment. Modern feminism is repulsive. Why do I have to approve that comment? Because it's bloody true. Meg Tao, Pornhub addict. Weg Tao, cat addict. Lisa, hey, how you doing, Lisa? How are you? I know you've inboxed me. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I will have a look. I will. Don't worry. I've just been a bit tied up. Hatchie says, UFO dating agency, lol. I dread to think how many dogs are going to react when someone takes me home. Oh, Ben, lol. There is one, you know. Hey, Hugo, how are you? 63 years old and no V word here. Yay! Nice one, Hugo. You missed the beginning. Not a problem, mate. You haven't missed much. We started talking about Brexit, and now we're on to V words and things like that. The V word being, the C word is the thing we're not allowed to talk about, this disease that's sweeping the world. The V word is what some people are taking to protect themselves from this disease. Villanora, God, that's a nightmare, Marky. Yeah, it's honestly, there's going to be some kind of resistance. I know that Eric Clapton said quite clearly he's going to organise gigs, and he says he's not going to comply with any regulation that forces people not having the V word to attend. At the end of the day, like if 35% of the population are refusing the V word, then it's going to affect the industry. What's going to happen is there's going to be a rebellion simply in the hospitality industry. Because and not only that, just think what you got to do, right? The bouncers and the reception staff and the people in the box offices, they're going to have to act essentially as medical examiners. They're going to have to be checking people's medical records to see if they've had a V word. They're not going to like it. It's not practical. I really think it's going to break down if they try it. I'm pleased to say, actually. Welsh Ripper in the Rhondda back in the day, everyone will remember the Hillside Club like something out of the Wild West and the Black Prince. Oh, man. Oh, it's happy memories, right? I do have happy memories of going to the Mintry Farm Club and things like that, you know. Michelle, I'm writing a book, but I think I need a week off. It's doing my head in. Well, Michelle, good luck with that. I mean, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm trying to write a book, but I'm taking weeks on it because there's just so much going on in the world right now. I don't have time. Jobby Dodger says, has the timer for the live stream disappeared? According to this, no, it's 1 hour 28. Lemsip says, I watch Call the Midwife and Casualty to remind myself not all nurses and doctors are bad people, and not all are like Nurse Ratchet in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Though many are. Yeah, that was that film with Elizabeth Taylor, wasn't it? That was bloody awful, yeah. Gary Newman's real name is Gary Webb. All right. Jonathan Corliss, UFO dating agency. I bet some of the women on there are out of this world. Well, Jonathan, you want to be careful you don't get matched up with an alien woman. You know, it might not be very nice. It could be that green girl from Star Wars, Star Trek, and that'll be fine. Princess Leia, you know. But you might get that horrible creature that assaulted Antonio Villas-Boas. Nihilist Lives Matter saying that Clapton can say what all he wants, but the venues won't book him. Clapton has reached the level where he can create his own venues. It's crazy. They need him more than he needs them. Lisa says, only joined and not sure what you're talking about so far, the new one today. Pollen is apparently responsible for spreading the P word, so folk be warned not to sit by trees. Oh, dear. Oh, I saw that, Lisa. Yeah, I saw that. That is nuts. That is complete nuts. I really, Lisa, it's surely people don't believe that, do they? She says, C word, V word. It sounds like a job interview. No good going to Tesco's and checking out the operator. Nyla says it was only a matter of time before someone dies of the C word and sues the venue. Well, I think if enough people stand up, you see, but the problem is they'll be thinking, well, is it worth the risk? Because we're not going to get the crowds we need. Jonathan says, I was hoping to date a rancor. Hug a tree. Yes, Marky, yes. Walk barefoot on the grass. Absolutely. Brilliant, alright. It's just wow, Lisa. The BS has taken my breath away. Yeah. Lisa says, I think we're in the Delta deep sleep. If this don't wake up. Yeah. Hoax World War III if the death shots fail. Yeah. Well, Jobby, did you see what's happened in the Black Sea? Russia fired a warning shot at a British destroyer. I mean, what's going on? I mean, I think it's a destroyer or frigate, HMS Defender. And it's all to do with these various territorial waters claims that Russia's been making for the last 150 years or so. But it's obvious they're trying to set up some kind of confrontation which will justify more sanctions against Russia. It's to do with the Nord Stream pipeline, the fact that Putin won't accept an IMF loan, things like that. Lemsip says Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito were in Offhot CN before they were really famous. What's that there? OFOs TCN. What's that, Lemsip? Jobby Dodger has brought up the inevitable alien invasion. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past them, you know. As I said on my UFO disclosure videos. Michelle, go spending time in a forest. Good for you, yeah. Lisa says, if folks start chopping down trees and stamping on bees, that's it, no more. How's that going, actually, Lisa? Is that still, because I remember you talking about the bees and it's that meadow. Hugo Roon, I have a foot wound and visit my surgery nurses twice a week to get the dressing changed. I do wear a mask to keep the peace, but the nurses are fully aware that I'm not yet V-worded. All right, well, they don't... Hugo, do they sort of like chivvy and chase you a little bit, saying, come on, Hugo, you know, you really ought to do it, you know, you really ought to. Or if they tried it and you've given up. Oh, hang on, he says here, never give me any bother at all, just happy to deal with me normally with the mask. Okay, cool, that's cool. Something's going on, Ben, says Jobby Dodger, yeah. Yeah, here we go. I heard the Russians shelled at a Royal Navy ship today. They did, Nihilist, yeah. It's a bit... obviously, they're spinning it. The wording they use at the BBC. It's very, very transparent. Where is it here? This is Russian jets and ships target a British warship. More than 20 Russian aircraft and 2 Coast Guard ships shattered a British warship. The Russians deny that any warning shots were fired. Aircraft are heard overhead, and they describe what sounds like the detonations of shells. I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word of it. They're trying to just demonise the Russians again. They always do that. Welsh Ripper says, move to the Falklands. No sea down there, but plenty of landmines hiding. Oh, that's the problem. St. Helena, as you know, if you watch my video on the subject, St. Helena is also C-word free. M-Slip mentions One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's the film you talked about. I think I've seen it. It's quite horrible. It's quite a worrying film with Elizabeth Taylor when she's locked in an asylum. Lisa says, apparently Russia fired a shot, so Black Sea. We've also had black alerts in Barnsley Hospital, where masses of people coming into A&E. They say not C word, but A&E sickness. WTF is A&E sickness. Well, it's just like, I think they're using like little words, Lisa, to maybe get certain weird things going on in our heads, you know? Adam and Eve. A&E's Adam and Eve, yeah. Do you guys mind if I call it a night? I'm getting a bit tired. I'm getting a bit tired. Sorry about this. But I think, basically, I look forward to the next... I look forward very much to the next referendum day, very much. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also, there's Brexit Day coming and Deal Day and all those things. So I'll be celebrating those. So, guys, my next video will probably be Saturday afternoon's live stream. Now, keep an eye. I'll put up a notice on Friday if I'm going to do one. But it'll be... I wanted to do one on Saturday afternoon about 2 p.m, if that's all right with you. Night, Hugo. Take care. And it'll all be about what we're going to find out in the UAPTF report. Thanks, Daniel. Take care. Good night, Jonathan. You're very welcome. Cheers. Cheers, Michelle. Till we meet again. Fare thee well. Yeah. I will. I'll have a little rest, Mark. I need something to eat. I'll just not myself tonight. Not my usual energetic self. Maybe on Saturday I'll be able to go do a bit longer, you know. A man should rest when he's tired. Yeah, definitely. I'm off on Saturday, so you probably can watch that. Hey, nice one, Woody. Nice one, mate. Night, Paul Armstrong. Night, Jobby Dodger. And you know, on Saturday I'll probably be, if it's really good news, I'll probably do a 4-hour job on Saturday, because I'm also more energetic in the afternoon than this time of night. This time in the evening. One of the reasons I want to stop now is because I've got a lot. I want to have a little something to eat, and I've got a lot to do before the end of the evening, actually, in terms of my show tomorrow. So I'm going to call it a night now. But obviously, I've recorded this, so if it disappears, I will be sure to. It's whatever happens, it's going to be on. If for some reason this stream disappears, you'll find it on BitChute, Library, and Odyssey. And I've got a Rumble account now. I'm on brand YouTube. I'll be setting some more up. So I'm going to go anywhere I go where they can't get me. So wherever they go, I'll go one step further. Good night, David Gregg. Night, Lisa. Take care. Night, Paul. Lisa, I'll look at your inbox. I know you sent me a link, so I'll have a look at that. And night for Eleonora. Thanks very much, guys. Take it easy. Hope to see you Saturday afternoon. If I do it, you'll know, because there'll be a lot. They'll put the notice up on Friday. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.